Evening, guys. Oh, excuse me. Hope everybody's having a good evening. I know I sure am. This evening we're going to discuss a topic of rules. We're going to talk about rules this evening, guys, and why we have rules in place. Well, it's very simple. Rules are set forth in place to preserve the integrity of a sport. And what I mean by integrity is so that it is held prestigious and with honor when the events are held. That's with any sport. You know, take for instance, if you were watching a football game and one guy pulled out some kind of firearm and shot the other quarterback right before he threw the winning touchdown, it would probably degrade the integrity of the game. So therefore, because shooting the quarterback isn't allowed in professional football. Okay? That's just an example. And everything we're going to be talking about today is for entertainment purposes, and any events I talk about today will definitely be events that was prior to 2008 when the sport of cockfighting was still legal in the United States. Okay, in certain states of the United States. Okay, so this is all for entertainment purposes. That being said, we'll talk about the rules of knife fighting in the United States prior to 2008 and how the knife came about here and how I foresee that the rules come about. What happened was the long knife became popular here first and got real popular in the late 80s, early 90s, up through mid 90s, maybe even close to 2000. The long knife was really popular. The short knife came in and basically took over the sport of knife fighting. Not many people wanted to show in the long knife after the short knife took over. But the rules were the same. It was the same rules. With different little variations on, in the short knife, they had to match the length and the duration of the battle before it was declared a draw. That was determined by the pits. Okay? But as far as the rules of the actual combat itself, they remain the same as the long knife rules in America. And what basically happened was, hey, it's getting time, they want to get on the roof. What basically happened is the knife came in and took the American pits by storm. They gathered up a set of rules based off of what the rules was in the Philippines, but with more involvement with the involvement of the handlers. You handled your own rooster instead of the referee doing all the handling. Okay, and a rooster had to, basically it's the same, he had to fight by himself in his own pitting to get the count, but the referee controlled the count at all times. Just like in the Philippines and all those countries that the long knife is king. So basically all we did, we went with they go directly to the short line. Rooster has to fight by itself to get the count. All that, the referee is in control of the whole fight, but the fight is so simple that there's not a lot of room for error, unless it's blatant error. It's not usually error, it's usually intentional whenever there is a discrepancy because it's so blatant. It's right before you. But there has never been an accurate set of rules written for the knife that actually depletes the way the knife was done prior to 08 in the legal days, and the rules of knife fighting in America prior to 08 in the legal days. And I've seen some stuff on the internet, and you could tell it was just really some stuff that was like, okay, they'd come up with like, all of a sudden there'd be a rule in the middle of it about a rest period and a 20-second count and all this, and you knew right then that they was copying something off of the Wortham Gap rules somewhere, or a Gap rule book somewhere. They didn't know what they were talking about, or they were getting it out of the maybe the Mexican short knife rules, which is totally different. In Mexico, they do it down different, and I don't have a clue. I believe it's the first rooster whose beak hits the dirt loses down there. But in America, I don't believe there's ever been a knife rule that was accurately depicted the, I'm trying to say it right, accurately described the knife in the way it was done and the way the rules go. At least I haven't seen it. What I'm going to do is, a friend of mine, I was asking him about it, we were talking about it, and I said, you know, I just ain't ever been able to find a good set of rules, you know, to carry with me, and you know, and read when I was at work or whatever, you know, and on a rainy night, sit down and relive, you know. So I was like, my buddy said, me either. He said, you know what, you ought to just write a set. And I said, well, I guess I can. He said, you should write a set. He said, that way you'll be remembering all your past events. And I said, you know what, that's a good idea. So for entertainment purposes only, and anybody that would like a copy of the way things were back in the legal days, my depiction of what the rules would be in the knife fights, holler at me. I'll fix you up with a set, because I'm gonna write a set of rules for those previous years, and just as I remembered it, the way it was. And it's really pretty close to the way the Filipinos do it, except that the rules, the number one thing is the referee does all the handling in the Philippines, and in America, the handlers did the handling. That is really the number one. You get to the same effect. That's really the only difference. But I thought it'd be a good idea, and I'm going to do it. And I think back in the legal days, I showed enough in a blade to be able to accurately describe the rules of knife fighting. So therefore, we're going to do it. Anyway, this old rooster, this one of a little hatch rooster. I figured he was better to look at than Mug. He's scared to death, you can tell. Anyway, I thought that would be a good idea. And I'm going to start coming on here, and we're going to start doing a section if y'all like, and if you want, where we'll start going over one of the rules each time I'm on. I'm going to write them all down, and then I'm going to start going over them one at a time. And if you want Gap rules, you just want to get the Henry Wortham rule book. Most pits go by the Wortham. During the legal days, they went by the Wortham, and they would go with the, one or two house rules. And they had them posted up on the board. Wortham rules plus house rule, blah, blah, blah. That's the way that went. Usually somewhere around the scales, so nobody could miss it. That's the way that went back then. But anyway, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start talking about at least one rule every time I'm on YouTube of the way it was done back in the legal days. If y'all enjoy it, let me know. Like, subscribe, and if you guys want a copy of what I'm going to write, just let me know, and we will get with you on that. Hope everybody's having a wonderful weekend. Thank you, guys.